Okay, so, we're all getting older,
Yeah.
right? And eventually we had to face the music about what that actually means.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's something we think about more and more these days, especially with the massive, increase in the senior population. Like, it's a tidal wave almost.
Yeah. And I think, nursing homes and assisted living, those have been kind of the traditional go-to,
Yeah.
but, you know, it's not exactly everyone's, dream scenario.
No, not at all. I mean, and a lot of people want to stay in their homes, right? Like, that's a really common thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they're fiercely independent
Mhm.
and want to maintain that for as long as they possibly can. So aging in place has become this, huge thing.
It is huge. And it's not just about like not moving, it's about quality of life. Like you
Yeah.
said, maintaining your independence and having control.
Yeah, and I think what's so cool is that technology is actually enabling that to a degree that we've never seen before. Like aging in place is becoming not just possible, but pretty amazing.
It is. And that's where, companies like GRT Health are coming in, this Canadian company doing some really interesting things with aging in place. And they're actually partnering with Sensitek, a Cellhub company, to bring their solution to the US with this whole 5G boost.
Wow, that's a big deal. So tell me more about GRT Health. Like, what's their mission? What are they all about?
Well, they really are focused on empowering seniors to live life on their own terms. And they have this platform called GRT Insight, and it's like a central command center for senior care. But, instead of people running around like crazy, it's all this smart tech that collects data from different devices to identify issues before they even become like full-blown emergencies.
Okay, so it's like a proactive safety net rather than just reacting when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
So what kind of devices are we talking about? Like, what are they using to actually make this happen?
Well, one of them is called the Odyssey Go, and it's a wearable alert device. It's got GPS tracking, fall detection, two-way communication, all built in, so seniors can have their freedom and independence, but still be safe even when they're out and about.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Especially for families who, worry about their loved ones wandering or getting lost. Like,
Oh.
that must provide so much peace of mind. But what about health monitoring? Like, that seems like a critical piece of this whole aging in place puzzle.
It is, and for that, they have the GRTH3 Home Health Hub, and it's constantly monitoring vital signs, blood pressure, oxygen levels, weight, you name it. It's like having a mini medical lab right there in the home.
That's incredible, like having a virtual doctor keeping an eye on things 24/7. But, what about those everyday things that can become hazards, like leaving the stove on or forgetting to turn off the water? Those little things that can become big problems.
Yeah, that's where the Oasis passive monitoring sensors come in. They're really smart. They learn the seniors' daily routines, and then they can flag any unusual activity. It's like having an invisible guardian angel.
Wow, so we've got safety, we've got health monitoring, we've got everyday peace of mind. But what about medications? That's a huge concern for seniors and their families, like making sure they're taking the right meds at the right time.
Absolutely, that's covered too. They have GRT Med, which ensures medications are taken correctly and on time. And it even alerts caregivers if there are any issues like a missed dose or a potential interaction.
Okay, this is starting to sound like a dream scenario for seniors and their families.
Hmm.
But I have to ask, how does all this tech actually work together? I mean, we're talking about a lot of data flying back and forth.
Right, and that's where the partnership with Cellhub Sensitek comes in. They're providing nationwide 5G connectivity for all these devices, so it's all seamless.
Ah, 5G.
Mhm.
So we're talking about lightning fast data transmission, rock solid reliability. But what does that actually mean for seniors and their families? Like, how does that translate into real world benefits?
Well, think about it. Faster emergency response times, seamless data transmission from all those different devices,
Hmm.
extended battery life. It all adds up to making sure things work when they're needed most.
Okay, so reliability is key, especially when we're talking about someone's health and safety. But this brings up another question for me.
Yeah, I'm listening.
So GRTL has this amazing platform, all these incredible devices, but it's not just about the tech, right?
Mhm.
I mean, what's the bigger picture impact of all this? How does this technology actually change lives?
That's a really great question. And it goes to the heart of what GRThealth is trying to achieve. I mean, they're not just selling gadgets, they're promoting a whole new way of thinking about aging.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, imagine a world where getting older doesn't automatically mean losing your independence or, becoming reliant on institutions. That's the vision. GRTealth is working towards empowering seniors to stay in their homes, maintain their social connections, and really live life on their own terms.
Yeah, it's powerful and it really challenges our assumptions about aging. But how does technology actually make that happen? Could you give me some concrete examples?
Of course. Let's take a look at how GRTealth's technology is already making a difference in the lives of real seniors and their families.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping to hear. Give me the details.
So, we were talking about real-world examples, and one that comes to mind is Mrs. Jones. She's 82, loves her independence, but had a fall recently, and, it really shook her up a bit.
Oh gosh, yeah, falls can be so scary, especially at that age. So how did GRT Health help in that situation?
Well, her family was really worried, obviously, so they decided to try out GRT Health's system, and they started with the Odyssey Go, that wearable alert device.
Okay, so the one with the GPS and fall detection. So
Yeah.
did that actually give them peace of mind? Like, did it work?
It was huge. I mean, Mrs. Jones loved that she could still go for her walks in the park, but knew that if anything happened, she could just press a button and get help, and her family could track her location, so they always knew she was safe.
That's amazing. Is it like that balance of independence and security?
Yeah.
You know, but what about health monitoring? Did the system help with that too?
Oh, absolutely. She also had the GRTH3 Home Health Hub installed, and that turned out to be a lifesaver, actually, because
Yeah.
it started tracking her blood pressure, and it was a little higher than it should have been. So her doctor was able to adjust her medication proactively and, probably prevent a much bigger problem down the line.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like preventative medicine in action. But I'm curious, how did Mrs. Jones feel about all this technology? I mean, was she comfortable with it? Did she feel like it was intrusive?
That's a great question, and it's something GRT Health really pays attention to. Like, they design their technology to be super user-friendly.
Right.
Even for seniors who aren't necessarily tech savvy, and they have great customer support to help people get comfortable with it.
That's really important because not everyone's a digital native, right?
Exactly. And in Mrs. Jones's case, she was a little hesitant at first, but when she saw how it could help her stay independent and, give her family peace of mind, she really embraced it.
That's heartwarming to hear. But I imagine not every senior is so receptive to technology. How does GRT Health address that potential barrier?
Yeah, you're right. Not everyone's comfortable with tech, and that's totally fine. They recognize that and focus on making the transition as smooth as possible. They offer personalized training, clear instructions, ongoing support to make sure seniors feel confident using the devices.
It sounds like they're really committed to meeting seniors where they are, technologically speaking. But let's shift gears for a second. We've talked about the devices, the benefits for seniors and families. But what about the ethical implications of all this? We're collecting a lot of data about people's lives, their health. Does that raise any concerns?
It's a super important question, and one GRT Health is definitely aware of. Data privacy and security are paramount, so they've implemented really robust safeguards to protect all that sensitive information. And they're big on transparency, so seniors and their families know exactly what data is being collected and how it's being used.
Transparency is key. It builds trust and lets people make informed decisions about their own care. But I'm curious, does this technology ever feel intrusive to seniors like Big Brother is watching?
I think that's a valid concern, and it's something they address through careful design and implementation. The sensors are discreet and non-intrusive, and seniors can always disable certain features if they want pretty. The goal is support and safety without compromising privacy.
It sounds like they've really thought this through, trying to find that balance between safety, independence, and privacy. But let's zoom out for a second. How does GR Health's approach fit into the bigger picture of healthcare? Could this technology change the way we think about elder care in general?
That's a fascinating question, and I think GRT Health is part of this larger trend toward personalized, patient-centered healthcare. It's not just about reacting to problems, it's about empowering people to take control of their own health.
It's like a paradigm shift, especially for seniors who want to stay active and independent. But how does this impact the role of caregivers? Does technology replace human care?
It's a common concern, but actually technology enhances the role of caregivers. It gives them valuable insights into their loved one's health so they can make better decisions and provide better care.
So it's like a high-tech assistant, not a replacement. That makes sense. Can you give me an example of how this plays out in real life?
Sure, let's take Mr. Smith. He's 78, living with early-stage dementia. His daughter, Sarah, is his primary caregiver, but she works full-time and has her own family, so it's a lot to juggle, and she was constantly worried about her dad.
I can only imagine that's a tough situation. So how did GRT Health help?
Well, Sarah had their system installed in her dad's home, including those Oasis passive monitoring sensors. And one day, the sensors detected unusual activity in the kitchen. Turned out Mr. Smith had left the stove on after making tea. It's a common issue with dementia, but the system alerted Sarah right away, and she was able to call a neighbor to check on him and make sure everything was safe.
Wow, that's a real-life example of how this technology can prevent a potentially dangerous situation.
Yeah.
But it's not just about safety, is it? How did it affect Sarah's role as a caregiver?
It gave her so much peace of mind knowing that her dad was being monitored even when she couldn't be there, and that freed her up to focus on other aspects of caregiving, like spending quality time with him and, just being there for him emotionally.
It's amazing how technology can actually strengthen the bond between caregivers and their loved ones by reducing stress and creating more space for those meaningful interactions. But I'm curious, what is the social aspect of aging? Can technology really address loneliness and isolation, which are such big issues for seniors?
It's a great question, and GRT Health is actually exploring that. They've developed this thing called the GRT Health Virtual Companion. It's an AI-powered, photorealistic companion that provides social interaction and can even detect signs of cognitive decline.
Wait, a virtual companion? That sounds futuristic. How does that work?
So it appears on a screen in the senior's home and interacts with them in a natural conversational way. It can have conversations, play games, give reminders, and just offer companionship. It's like having a friendly face and a listening ear, even when family and friends can't be there.
That's wild. It sounds like science fiction. But does it actually work? Do seniors actually engage with it?
You might be surprised. They've done a lot of research and found that seniors really respond to it. They appreciate the social interaction, the mental stimulation, and just that sense of connection.
That's really encouraging. It shows that technology can actually combat loneliness
Yeah.
and promote social well-being, even for seniors who are homebound or have limited mobility. But I have to ask about the cost of all this. Is this technology only for the wealthy?
That's a valid concern, and GRT Health is committed to making it accessible to as many people as possible. They offer different plans and pricing options to fit different budgets, and they're working with insurance companies and government agencies to explore coverage options.
That's great to hear because it's important that this technology isn't just a luxury for the elite. It needs to be available to everyone. But I'm also thinking about the long-term implications. Could this technology actually change the face of elder care as we know it?
I think it has the potential to do just that. By empowering seniors to age in place safely and independently, we can reduce the need for expensive institutional care, which could have a ripple effect throughout the healthcare system.
It's a whole new way of thinking about aging and elder care. But I imagine there are challenges ahead, too, as GRT Health expands into the U.S. market. What are some of the hurdles they might face?
Yeah, there are always challenges with new technology, especially in healthcare. One is awareness. A lot of people just aren't familiar with aging in place technology and its potential benefits.
Right, it's a whole new world. We're so used to the traditional model of nursing homes and assisted living facilities.
Exactly. So GR2 Health is focusing on educating both consumers and healthcare professionals about their approach through conferences, webinars, partnerships with advocacy groups, getting the word out there.
That makes sense. Education is key to changing perceptions and driving adoption. What other challenges do you see?
Yeah. I mean, navigating the regulatory landscape is a big one. The healthcare industry is heavily regulated, and every state has its own rules and requirements. So GRT Health has to make sure their tech complies with everything and that their data privacy practices are, top notch.
Right. It's that red tape. It's essential, but it can be a pain.
Yeah.
But it sounds like GRT Health is on top of it.
Oh, yeah. They have a whole team dedicated to staying up to date on all the regulations. They're committed to doing things by the book and building trust with everyone. But beyond the regulations, there's also the question of scalability. Can they actually expand their operations to serve the entire U.S. market?
That's a good point. Canada and the U.S. are very different beasts. What's the strategy for tackling that?
Well, they've been very strategic about their U.S. expansion. First of all, the partnership with Cellhub Sensitek is huge. Having access to nationwide 5G connectivity is a game changer. It means they can reach a much wider audience and ensure that the technology works reliably no matter where someone lives.
Makes sense. 5G is becoming more and more widespread, so it's smart to leverage that. But what about actually reaching those potential customers? How are they getting the word out?
They're using a multi-pronged approach, building partnerships with healthcare providers, senior living communities, home care agencies, and they're also launching targeted marketing campaigns to reach seniors and their families directly.
Sounds like they're covering all their bases. But even with the best technology and marketing, you still have the human factor to consider. How do they make sure that seniors actually embraced and use this technology?
That's where their focus on user experience and customer support really comes in. They've designed everything to be as user-friendly as possible, simple interfaces, intuitive controls, and they have a dedicated support team available 24/7 to answer questions and help people out.
That's great to hear. They're not just throwing tech at seniors and hoping for the best. They're really providing the support to make it a positive experience. But overall, what's your assessment of GRT Health's Potential impact on the U.S. market. Do you think they're set up for success?
I'm cautiously optimistic. They have a great product, a strong team, a really compelling vision, and they're entering the market at the right time. The demand for aging-in-place solutions is only going to increase.
That's encouraging. It sounds like they're on the right track,
Yeah.
but like with any new technology, there are always unknowns. What are some things that could potentially hold them back?
Well, competition is one thing. The aging-in-place technology market is getting crowded. New players are popping up all the time.
True, it's a hot space right now. So how does GRT Health stand out from the crowd?
Their key differentiator is their comprehensive approach. They're not just offering one device or service. It's a whole ecosystem of solutions that address a wide range of needs.
Right. It's not just about safety or health monitoring. It's about empowering seniors to live their best lives at home.
Correct.
But what about the cost factor? Can they compete on price?
That's always a consideration, but they're offering a premium product with a lot of value, and they're working to make their solutions more affordable through partnerships and different pricing models.
Sounds like they're being smart about it. But beyond the business side of things, there's also the social impact to consider. What do you see as the long-term implications of this technology for our society?
That's a big question, and it's one I'm still thinking about. But I believe this technology has the potential to really change how we view aging and elder care.
That's a big statement. Can you expand on that a bit?
Well, I think aging-in-place technology can help seniors stay active and engaged in society for much longer. It can reduce the burden on families and caregivers and create new opportunities for seniors to contribute their skills and experience to their communities.
It's a whole new paradigm. We're moving away from this idea of aging as a time of decline and dependence and embracing the idea that seniors can continue to live full and meaningful lives.
Exactly. And I think this technology can help create a more age-friendly society where seniors are valued and respected for their contributions.
It's a really exciting vision, but I also know there are potential downsides. What are some things we need to be cautious about as this technology keeps developing?
Equity is a big one. We need to make sure this technology is accessible to everyone, regardless of income, location, or tech savviness.
Right. We can't create a system where only the wealthy can afford to age in place with dignity and support.
Exactly. And it's not just about affordability, it's also about making sure the technology is designed to be accessible to everyone, regardless of their tech skills or cognitive abilities.
It has to be truly inclusive and empower all seniors, not just a select few.
Absolutely. Another concern is the potential for technology to actually worsen social isolation. We need to make sure it complements human connection, not replaces it.
Finding that balance is key. Technology can be great for connecting people, but it's not a substitute for real-world relationships.
Exactly. And we also have to consider the ethical implications of all this. As AI and robotics become more advanced, we need to make sure they're used in a way that respects the dignity and autonomy of seniors.
Those are all really important points.
Yeah.
It's clear that this technology has the power to change our society in some big ways, both good and bad, and it's up to us to make sure it's used for good.
I completely agree. This is a conversation we need to have as a society, and it's a conversation that GRThealth is engaging in as they develop and deploy their technology.
That's great to hear. It's important to have companies that are not just innovating, but also thinking critically about the impact of their work.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm excited to see what the future holds for GRT Health and for the whole field of aging-in-place technology.
Well, this has been an incredibly insightful conversation. I've learned so much about the potential and the challenges of this whole area. But before we wrap up, I want to give our listeners a chance to learn more about GRT Health and how they can access this technology for themselves or their loved ones.
Absolutely. If you want to learn more, the best place to start is their website, GRTHealth.com. They have tons of information about their platform, their devices, their services, and you can always reach out to them directly with any questions.
Perfect. And for those who are interested in the connectivity side of things, Cellhub.com is the place to go. They are the ones providing that crucial 5G network that makes all this possible. We'll be sure to include both of those links in our show notes.
Excellent. And remember, this technology is just one part of the solution. The most important thing is our commitment to creating a society that supports and values its aging population.
Well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of aging-in-place technology. Thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, the future of aging is in our hands. Let's make growing older something to celebrate, not something to fear.